Hello everyone. So in this section, we're going to answer a few questions from our stakeholders. So the first one is we've got an email and they've asked us to give an overview of sales for 2004. So they want to see a breakdown by product, country and city and include the sales value, the cost of sales and the net profit. So let's have a look at this. In my SQL Workbench, the first thing I want to do is bring back all the columns from the orders table. So we'll just do a select star from orders and just ensure you've double clicked the classic models schema here and it's in bold. Otherwise you would have to type in classic models before each table. So I'll just bring back everything from the orders table now. So what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to join the order details table. We can remind ourselves of what column we will be joining on. So it will be the order number. So you can see here the orders table has the order number. So we'll just call this T1 and we'll do an inner join of the orders table, the order details table. And we'll name it T2 and we then join them on. Equals T2 dot order number. Okay, now we have each order. We're going to get duplicates for our order number because it's broken down by product. Okay, now the next thing we'll want to display is we'll bring in the customers table and then we'll bring in the products table as well. So first we'll bring in the products table. So again, we know that the products table has the product code. So we can then join the product code based on what is in the order details table. So I'll just name it T3. And since product code is in the order details table, we do T2 dot product code equals T3 dot product code. Spelled product wrong. Okay. So now we can see the product name and the product line of each product that was ordered. And now the final table we'll bring in is our customers table. So our customers column, our customer ID column is in the So we have customer number in the customers table and it's either our order details or our ordered table. So order details doesn't have it, but yet we can see orders has customer number. So that means we join it on T1 dot customer number equals T4 dot customer number. Again, I spelled wrong. Okay, so now we have all the customer details, including the city and the country that they're from. Okay, so based on what was asked of us, we have to think about what columns we want to bring back. We'll want to bring back the order date, and also we'll just move across. We want the quantity ordered so that we can work out the sales value by multiplying quantity ordered by the price. And then also the price each. Yeah, we'll want the product name as well. And we'll also bring in the product line and the buy price so that we can work out the net profit. So we can work out the cost based on the purchase price multiplied by the quantity ordered. So we'll bring in buy price and country, and city was also what we needed. So yeah, there from our customers table. And then yeah, the second column I'll bring actually is our order number. And we're going to have to specify which table it comes from. So we'll bring it just from T1. And we'll also bring it order date from T1. Let's just check if that is okay. Yep. Okay. So now we can see order number, even the first one here, 10100. We have our 4 products, the city and country that the customer's from, and the buy price and the quantity order and the price sheet. So this is everything we need. What we could do now, we only want to show 2004. And you can see here it's displaying 2003 and 2005. What we'll do, we'll add in a where filter. So let's just say where, we could do a substring or year. Let's use year. Open brackets, order date, close brackets, equals 2004. Now it's only going to bring orders from 2004. And we could do more calculations here in SQL, such as buy price multiplied by quantity order, and we would name the column cost of sale. But I'm going to do that in Excel. So let's copy our data into Excel. Now I've just opened up a new blank workbook in Excel. What we'll want to do to copy all our data across is we can click any of the left hand side rows here. Ensure you click one of these first, and then we'll click the top left, and that will allow us to copy them all. The reason we need to do it like this is so that we're copying in our header names as well. Now we just hit Control and C, and you can see it's copying it. You can see the little loading icon beside my cursor. And in Excel, we can just paste these in. So you'll notice if I just hit Control and V, it makes the rows quite big. So I'm just going to undo this, and I prefer to right click and paste values because it allows us to match the destination formatting in our options. So that means that the rows won't be as large. And now we can just delete column A, and I'll just highlight all of our columns and just double click to make them bigger. Okay, so now what we can do is create some extra columns here in our data, and we'll make some calculations to show the sales value here and the cost of sales and the net profit. So let's just create a column header saying sales value, and for this calculation we just enter equals, and we want to select the cell where the price is, and then a star for multiplied by, and then quantity ordered, which is just next to it for me. And then if you hit enter, we're going to have our sales value. And then at the bottom right of the cell, when the arrow changes, we can just double click this, and then we'll have calculated our sales value. And then we'll do a new one for cost of sales. Again, just equals quantity ordered multiplied by the buy price this time. So we would expect this to be lower than the sales value, otherwise we've made a net loss. And then again, double click the bottom right of the cell just to autofill all our cells below. And finally, just a net profit calculation. But before it will just be sales value minus cost of sales, but I just want to, because these are still formulas, I want to change them to paste the values. So just shift right and shift down, control shift down, control and C, and then we'll just right click and paste the values. And now we can do equals sales value minus cost of sales. And then that's our net profit. So for this net profit, I would also just like to Control Shift down and copy and paste the values just to remove the formulas. So again, just right click, paste values. Okay, now we can these are the 3 columns that we will use in our pivot tables. So let's just make them all currency. So if we select them all, you can see just under our number, above our number tab, there's a accounting number format, or you could change it just by selecting the drop down and click accounting. So it will just change it to dollars. And then we'll just click anywhere inside the table, the data, insert pivot table from table range, and we'll bring it into a new worksheet. Okay, so what we'll look at first in our pivot is the product. So you could bring in product name or product line, but we'll look at product name, and it brings in every product. So there is quite a few, but we'll take a sum of the sales first. Okay, it hasn't shown it as currency. So I'll just change this to accounting and let's order it. So you can right click, just click in one, sort, we'll do smallest to largest. And then now we can insert a chart from this. So if we select anywhere inside the pivot table, click insert at the top, you'll see we have the option to insert a pivot chart. Now this will allow us we can show a column or a bar chart. And I think a bar chart is better for this because there are quite a few products. We want to read them down rather than sideways. And then you can just easily visualize which product had the most sales. So I'm just going to delete our title here. You can just click on it, and also our legend. Just click on it and select delete. Okay, so now I'm going to insert another pivot table. So back in our data, insert pivot table from the table range, but let's bring it back into the same worksheet. So you can just click existing worksheet, and in location, we can just select a cell. So let's bring it in beside the chart. And now we want to show the product name, but we want to show it by cost of sales. And we'll also bring in the net profit to this one because they're related. And again, we just need to change them to a currency. And then we can insert a pivot chart from this as well. So with the pivot chart from this pivot table, we're showing 2 metrics, cost of sales and net profit. Now we can again order this. So right click net profit, we'll sort by smallest to largest again. And we'll now insert the pivot chart. Okay, a column, or we could even do a stacked column. And this lets us visualize. Now we'll do it sideways. And it lets us visualize any products that may have a lower net profit and a higher cost of sales, such as this Chevrolet Deluxe Coupe. It has a higher percentage of cost of sales towards net profit compared to our Ferrari Super Red or our Ford Falcon, where it's almost 50-50. So maybe in this chart, we want to show what product has a high cost of sales compared to the net profit. So we can change the chart type, and we could view it like this, clustered bar, and any product with a large blue line compared to the net profit means the cost of sales may be too high. Or we could change it to a combo chart, and so we can make our net profit a bar, and the cost of sales could be a line with markers. But yeah, we'd only really want to see a line chart when it's a continuous data set, like a date on the x-axis. So I think it's interesting to see high cost of sales with lower net profit, but maybe for now we'll just cancel out of this and we can create a third pivot table, and now we'll just show the highest cost of sales and the highest net profit breakdown. So let's just, in this pivot table, we'll remove our net profit, and then we will, so you can also just copy and paste a pivot table and just change the fields in it. So we'll just Control and C this, and we'll paste it just to the right. And then if we right click it and show field list, we can change the cost of sales to show net profit instead. And now we can sort our net profit, smallest to largest, and then we can do the same with our cost of sales, and we can just give the exact same charts as we have for our sales value. So let's just insert 2 pivot charts, bar chart to show cost of sales, and again delete our, actually we can keep our title, but we'll just change it to show cost of sales, and we'll do the same here. We can add chart title, sales, and then finally net profit. Okay, so I think finally I'll just delete the legend in our cost of sale and net profit charts, and then we can make them slightly bigger, or wider I should say, just to be able to display the values at the bottom here. And then we can always just zoom out to view them all. It's at the bottom right here. We can zoom, and then now we can see our breakdown of sales, cost of sales, and net profit. Okay, so I'll just make this a bit bigger. Now I'm just going to save the sheet 1 as data, and then sheet 2 will be named product overview. I'll actually name this sales data. And then just remember to save your workbook as well. So I'll just save mine on my desktop for now, and I'm just going to name it Classic Models Analysis. Okay, so in the next video we will look at our city and country breakdown. So I'll see you there.